ligtas ang ating mga lansangan sa mga masasamang elemento. Subalit kung ang mga pinalit sa mga masasamang elementong ito ay mga otoridad na naghahanap buhay, mas nakakatakot maglakad sa lansangan at baka masama ka sa missing persons or unsolved homicide cases. Ipagpalagay na natin na mga adik ang ibang pinatay. Bakit pa tayo naglaan ng daang-daang milyon sa pagtatayo ng mga drug rehab centers kung papatayin din lamang natin sila? Ito ba ang dahilan kung bakit hindi nagamit ng full capacity or in full capacity yung ating mega rehabilitation center na nandoon sa Nueva Ecija? Pag drug addict ka ba, wala ka ng karapatang mabuhay dahil wala ka ng silbi sa buhay? Ang mga pinatay ay mga tatay, nanay, anak, kapatid, apo, mga membro ng pamilya na may mga nagmamahal. Napakinggan natin dito ang kanilang mga naulila. Sila'y kaawa-awa at kalunos-lunos. It is really sad that human lives were lost and wasted just to prove a point that we are against illegal drugs. The right to life is paramount as it is God-given and precedes all other human rights. Without life, there can be no rights. Quadcom will not sit idly by in the face of all these discoveries. We intend to get to the bottom of all these issues fairly, honestly, and truthfully. Hiningi po namin ang inyong buong pagtitiwala. Hindi po kami nag-aakusa lamang dahil sa politika o ano paman. Kayo po ang humusga. Inilalatag lamang namin ang aming mga impormasyon at katotohanan base sa mga salaysay, tunay na pangyayari at mga dokumentong nakalap sa aming mga pag-iimbestiga. Patuloy po naming babantayan at sisiya sa atin ang mga aligasyon, akusasyon at impormasyon para mapangalagaan ang ating bayan. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Human Rights, Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa atin pong Senior Deputy Speaker, sa ating Deputy Speaker, sa aking mga co-chairs, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues at mga kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. We gather here once more for the 10th time, not merely to sit in one of our typical hearings, in order to file one of our usual committee reports, but for something far greater. We have convened again because we cannot and we must not lose sight of the purpose that drives us, the pursuit of justice for the victims of illegal drugs, for the victims of POGOs, and for the victims of extrajudicial killings. To help remind us of why we dedicate so much of our time to this task, I ask you to remember the name of Kian de los Santos, that young man, that minor, whose life was tragically cut short by a bullet fired in the dark. We are here today for Kian and for the countless innocents like him who died in the name of a misguided, bloody war on drugs. To our people and to everyone here, I say, enough. Enough with the gaslighting. Enough with the distractions. Enough with the squid tactics. We cannot be knocked off course by words meant to confuse or mislead. At this point, there is one voice we must focus on, one that was used under oath in the halls of the Senate. Last week, former President Duterte himself spoke before the Senate and the nation, and in his own words, took responsibility for the blood spilled in his war on drugs. He did not deny. He did not deflect. He admitted that he gave orders that directed our own police forces to encourage suspected criminals to fight back so they could be killed. Under oath, he told us this: without shame, and without remorse. This was not hearsay. This was not a speculation. This was a declaration from the man himself. He went further. Under oath, he admitted to the existence of the Davao Death Squad, an entity with a lethal mandate that was replicated around the whole country when PRRD was elected president in 2016. But the former president did not stop there. He pointed his finger at a sitting senator, a member of our very government, and named him a part of the DDS, not a Duterte defending senator, no, but a member of the notorious Davao Death Squad. Ano ang sinabi ni PRRD? And I quote, yung isang senador, yang nakaupo dyan, si Senator De La Rosa, Death Squad rin yan. End of quote. And now comes this familiar refrain. It was all a joke. Biro lamang daw. But I ask you, my friends and my colleagues, I ask you, who makes jokes under oath? Who laughs while mothers bury their sons? Who finds humor in this horror? This is no laughing matter. The lives lost, the grief that lingers, the blood spilled in our streets, these are not punchlines in a cruel joke. These are lives, young innocent lives taken from us. But perhaps we should not be surprised. Perhaps we should not be shocked that this sacred issue, the sanctity of life, is treated so trivially. For we have seen time and time again how human life has been cheapened, how easily these men speak of death, how casually they wash their hands off the blood of the innocent. As Proverbs 31 verse 8 and 9 reminds us, and I quote, "Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy." End of quote. We are commanded to raise our voices for those who cannot speak, to seek righteousness for those who have been silenced, and to demand justice for those who have suffered unjustly. This, my friends, this is why we must not falter. This is why we must not rest, why we must not turn away. We have a responsibility, not only to the victims, but to our nation. We must continue this work, unyielding, unrelenting, uncompromising. Mga kasama, we have the statement of the former president. We also have testimony and evidence that corroborates what he said under oath. Now, we must hold to account those who have perpetrated these heinous crimes. Now we must ensure that the cries of the oppressed are not drowned out by laughter, that the dignity of human life is restored, and that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. And as we press forward, let us remember this. We do not stand here alone. We stand with Kian. We stand with his family. We stand with a 3-year-old killed by a stray bullet in Cebu. We stand with a 9-year-old killed in Caloocan, and the death certificate showed that he died of pneumonia. We stand with a tricycle driver gunned down just because the drug lord rode in his tricycle. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand with every victim of this dark and bloody campaign. The banality of evil must come to an end. We stand for those who cannot speak, for the voices that were silenced too soon. And we stand with the promise, the solemn vow, that we will do everything in our power to ensure this never happens in our country again. So with hearts full of resolve and eyes fixated on justice, let us continue this work. For if we are to be remembered, if the 19th Congress is to be remembered, let it be not for the jokes or the gaslighting, but for our dedication to the truth, our commitment to justice, and our compassion for those who suffered. Mga kaibigan, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Congressman Abante. The next to deliver his opening remarks is Congressman, the Chair of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
Mr. Chairman, I have no opening remarks for today's hearing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Public Accounts, Congressman Caraps Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. The Joint Committee has conducted 10 public hearings, and over the course of these proceedings, numerous witnesses have come forward, reinforcing suspicions of widespread abuses during the Duterte administration's war on drugs. Thus, a significant question has arisen regarding the safety of these witnesses and what they stand to gain from their cooperation. First and foremost, I want to put on record that telling the truth is its own reward. There is inherent value in honesty because it upholds personal integrity, contributes to justice, and fosters trust. By coming forward, these witnesses contribute to uncovering the realities of past actions and ensuring accountability. Their testimonies play a crucial role in strengthening the integrity of our institutions and promoting justice and transparency. Having said that, it is the obligation of the House of Representatives to ensure the protection and security of these witnesses. As a legislative body dedicated to uncovering the truth, the safeguarding justice, the House has a duty to support and protect those who come forward in good faith to share their testimony. The House recognizes the witnesses in sensitive inquiries may face threats, intimidation, or retaliation. As such, it is incumbent upon us to take all necessary measures to shield them from harm. Current laws does not grant the House of Representatives the authority to directly confer immunity from suit. However, we can recommend our witnesses for the Department of Justice Witness Protection Program, which offers both legal protection and additional support. By making this recommendation, we can ensure that witnesses who provide vital information are shielded from prosecution related to their testimonies, in line with the provisions of Republic Act Number 6981. This action requires the consent of the witnesses and approval of our Speaker. In addition, we may consider the option of granting protective custody to ensure the physical safety of resource persons who may be at risk due to their involvement in this investigation. While protective custody does not provide immunity from legal actions, it is an established measure that can provide immediate security during the course of our proceedings. Both actions will require a collective decision from the members of the Joint Committee. This ensures that we act transparently and uphold the principles of democracy. Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with the continuation of our inquiry, this representation would like to put on record and address certain critical concerns relative to the conduct of the parallel inquiry of the Senate Blue Ribbon Subcommittee on the drug war implemented during the previous administration on October 28, 2024. To set things into clear perspective, this representation fully recognizes the authority of the Senate to investigate the details of the implementation of the drug war, as both chambers of Congress are constitutionally permitted to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with our duly published rules. However, while the authority of the Senate will never be put into question, what is particularly concerning is the seeming disregard for proper courtesy and lack of impartiality by a member of the subcommittee. In particular, I am referring to the actions of Senator Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa. Allow me to discuss this detail, Mr. Chairman. Senator Bato de la Rosa action of participating as a member in a proceeding where he is named as one of the individuals involved in the implementation of drug war did not produce meaningful results, but rather cast doubts on the integrity of the whole process. In fact, prior to the hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator De La Rosa even insisted that the investigation should be heard by his own committee. This action of a sitting member of Congress not only demonstrates disregard to existing rules and processes, but also undermines the integrity of the institution that he is bound to respect. Kung sa simula pa lamang ay gumamit na siya ng impluensya, ano pa ang aasahan natin sa kanya sa mga gaganapin nilang pagdinig? He was the PNP chief when the previous implementation introduced the war on drugs. He also admitted that there were killings attributed to the war because of alleged cases of nanlaban. In short, he was not only involved, but was in fact one of the figureheads of the campaign during its inception. Hence, he should have been mindful that his presence in the hearing as a member of the panel would compromise, if not invalidate, the whole proceeding.